my name is Ika and you're watching Pixie in the Notes. Today I would like to talk about my favorite iris scents. So if you, like me, are a fan of iris scents, then keep on watching. Irises with their chiffon-like petals are unique and undeniably beautiful blooms. And the sensuality and beauty of iris flowers has inspired many artists, including Vincent van Gogh. And also, this is a very common motif in Art Nouveau, which I absolutely love. The name Iris means rainbow in Greek. It is likewise the name of the goddess in Greek mythology, who sends messages between gods and mortals on Earth. And according to a legend, Iris the goddess traveled to Earth through a rainbow, and beautiful flowers appeared whenever she set foot on the ground. These flowers were then called iris, like her name. Iris in perfumery is often referred to as blue gold. Obtaining Iris Absolute from the roots requires a real know-how and certain amount of patience, which makes it one of the most expensive and precious raw materials in perfumery. Because iris is obtained from roots, its scent profile is very interesting because sometimes it smells very earthy and almost vegetable-like, and it's often compared to carrot smell, boiled carrot smell. But it also has other facets. It adds powderiness to a fragrance and waxiness and makeup-like character, and it also sometimes can smell like violets. So this is a very interesting note, full of multifaceted character. So today I would like to present you the list of my favorite iris scents, and my number one gateway iris scent, maybe not my favorite, but that was the first iris fragrance I ever smelled and owned, and that is Iris Prima by Van Halligans. I remember exactly the first time I smelled it, I was like, wow, this smells so weird, because on my skin it smelled slightly rooty and almost vegetable-like. And that was so fascinating, but the citrus on the top and the vanilla and suede in the fragrance, it never makes it smell like a vegetable salad. It is very, very lightweight and very interesting. It wears beautifully on hot summer days, and it's absolutely unisex. This is a really beautiful iris scent that has become my iris reference perfume. So the first category of irises I would like to talk about is clean and crisp irises. And the cleanest of them all is the perfume from Prada, which used to be called Infusion de Riz, and now it's simply Iris. This features iris and neroli, and these two combined give the effect of the most creamy, luxurious soap. It smells extremely clean and sophisticated in the best possible way. I personally don't like soapy fragrances, but this one is to die for. It has a slight masculine touch to it, which makes it even more interesting. It smells basically like a freshly washed skin on a summer morning somewhere in Italy. It's divine. Another fragrance that has somehow similar vibe, and the notes in the fragrances are pretty similar, but there is slight difference, is number 19 Atelier version. And here we also have this very crisp, clean scent, but with some harsh greenness added that comes from galbanum. And it also, number 19 Poudre has this kind of retro vintage vibe about it. So there is the echo of the iconic number 19 with the galbanum, but all the edges are softened, and the greenness is rounded, it's powdery, it's more fluid. Both scents, both Prada and number 19 Poudre, I think, are beautiful workplace appropriate fragrances. I don't think they will offend anyone, and they give this kind of boss lady or boss guy type of vibe, but without the distancing aspect. And actually, iris is often referred to as a scent that is kind of distant. It's not very inviting. It's kind of reserved, introvert kind of ingredient, which, yeah, it's probably why I love it so much. There are two more in the Fresh Crisp lineup. And the next one I would like to talk about is Iris de Nuit from Healy. Here we have both violet, iris and carrot seeds. So we have this very punchy iris scent, but the trick here and the most interesting part here is that you don't know where iris ends and where violet begins. So sometimes I have this confusion. Is it an iris scent? Is it a violet scent? I don't know. And this is what I love about it. And it's very effervescent, very airy, like most Healy fragrances are. So it's very light, flirtatious, but it's not silly and it's not infantile in any way. I find it's very girly, but there is the earthiness that comes from iris and carrot seeds that grounds it a little bit. This is a very... I don't know if this is like I'm kind of influenced by the color of the liquid, but this fragrance smells purple. It smells exactly like the color of the juice. So another one might come as a surprise because not many people probably would call it an iris scent, but for me it is. And there is no iris listed in the notes. And this is Eau de Narcissist Blur from Hermes. And to me, basically, it smells like a love child of Iris from Hermes and Declaration by Cartier. So I get this punch of fresh, crisp, almost violet-like iris with spices and woodiness. It is extremely beautiful. It is very lightweight. This kind of watercolor signature of Elena is absolutely present here, and this is a very inoffensive, very effortless fragrance for every day, and I really, really like it. The next category of irises is my personal favorite, and they make my heart go faster. And two fragrances from this category are kind of my obsession at the moment. So the first one is Tiffany Co Intense. Oh my god! I discovered this fragrance through suggestions and recommendation of one of the YouTubers, Miss Kate. And the moment I sprayed it, I was like, I didn't even remember what she said. I remember she mentioned it a few times and I was kind of curious. I sprayed it and I was like, oh my god, this is like a gorgeous iris. It is slightly makeup-y, but very creamy, very rounded, very fluffy and cuddly. Slightly makeup-y. Then I checked the notes and I was like, okay, this makes sense. Iris here is paired with pear and vanilla. So they create this delicious, creamy, fluffy scent that I'm addicted to. Another Iris is a fragrance that made it very quickly to my top 3, and this is Shalimar Filtre de Parfum. If I thought Shalimar is perfect, I was, you know, kind of wrong, because Filtre is like an utter perfection for me. So it still has a very distinct Shalimar DNA, but all, as in Poudre version for number 19, also here, all the rough edges and the vintage character are kind of taken away, and you are left with this creamy, light, fluffy, cuddly, cozy mix of citrus, iris and vanilla. And as we all know, Guerlain knows how to do vanilla and iris. It is top notch. This is bee's knees of the iris fragrances, and I love wearing it. Maybe the iris is not the dominating part, but it adds this beautiful powderiness to the composition, and I'm obsessed with this fragrance. The last in the creamy balsamic category is Volute EDT by Diptyque. And this one is a mix of resins, balsamic resins, tobacco and dried fruit, and beautiful iris. And everything is sprinkled with pink peppercorns, and they add this kind of very airy and lightweight aura to it. And recently I smelled it, and I had this aha moment, because I realized it slightly reminds me of the most popular iris scent on the planet, and that is Atelier Intense. This bears some certain similarities to it, but it's, I think, less sweet, less makeup-y, but also has this body to it. But at the same time, it has this very interesting airiness to it. So a very interesting, beautiful fragrance. The EDP version is different though. It's more about tobacco. Here I feel it's like this, again, a beautiful mix of benzoin, vanilla and iris. I love this combo. So the next category is iris that smells like makeup. And in this category, I would like to mention a fragrance that I don't see mentioned a lot, and I think it's quite underrated, and this is Iris Rebelle from Atelier Cologne. This smells basically like a makeup bag, but in the best possible way. Here the iris is quite powdery, dry. There isn't much sweetness. The whole composition is topped with citruses, and it's very lightweight, and it's based on the musks. So it also has this beautiful skin-like warmth. It's a beautiful fragrance for everyday wear, and I don't know, but I kind of, when I smelled it first, I was like, okay, so I find it like a more wearable version of one of the most beautiful irises out there, which are unfortunately completely unwearable for me, and that is Iris Silver Mist from Serge Lutens. That one is like a iris explosion, but unfortunately for me, it usually gives me a headache, And this is such a melancholic and sad fragrance that it always puts me in this kind of somber, sad mood. And I usually am trying not to look that in my perfumes. But Iris Rebelle gives me similar vibe, but without all those feelings I mentioned. I think this is really one that is worth checking out. And last, but certainly not least, is probably the most unique iris scent I own. And this is Eau de Gentian Blanche from Hermès. Again, watercolor, signature, character, beautiful, freshy, that isn't citrus, that isn't aquatic. It's so unique. It smells like fresh air in the mountains. Some greenness, but this is like a slightly bitter herbal greenness with this beautiful, smooth, almost skin-like smelling iris. So unique, but the most unique part about it is that it smells almost savory. It almost smells salty. And when I posted it as a scent of the day on Instagram, Gunmantle24, hello, said that it smells like green bell pepper to him. And initially I was like, really? But then I couldn't get it out of my mind, and actually it does have this kind of peppery vibe, salty vibe to it, and this is so unique, so unique. Definitely you should check this fragrance out because it's amazing. And when I first tried it, I was blown away. I said, wow, I've never smelled anything like this, and the next day I bought a bottle and I've been wearing it obsessively as well. So that was the last fragrance on my list. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite iris scents are, and see you next time.